I want to talk about something real quick that the internet always wants to know about, and that's like gun setups, right? I'm going to briefly gloss over that because I feel like there's a lot less value in that and a whole lot more value in the rest of this video. So as you can see on the table before me, I have 4 different fighting rifle setups. I could have put more on here. A few months ago, I did a video about the SKS, or maybe about a month ago, I did a video about the SKS and its viability as a fighting rifle. For me, an SKS is like a fighting rifle if you don't have one of these. You know what I mean? SKSs are great rifles, but I believe that the AR-15 is superior by a long shot. So I'll talk about a couple of different AR setups here. We'll start from this end and go over here. So over here, I have a little bitty 300 Blackout AR pistol. I have Aimpoint T2 on there, little light on the front. Now this is a pistol light, not necessarily ideal for a fighting rifle, but this is really intended to be an inside of 100 yards rifle. So I have a pistol light on there. Again, not ideal, really should be more of a proper fighting rifle light, but that definitely works because this is kind of intended to be like a pistol range tool that is more effective than a pistol. I have a side folding brace adapter here just to make sure I can get this thing nice and compact. This is like kind of my road trip gun, you know what I mean? So that I have something a little bit more capable than a pistol. Something that hits harder with a 300 Blackout. I only run supers in this thing. I don't run a 300 Blackout because I want the quietest thing since sliced bread. I specifically run a 300 Blackout in this context because you can get literally AK level terminal performance in a very, very short package. Usually in a 7.62 by 39 or a 300 Blackout with supers, it's going to perform better in many regards than a short-barreled 5.56, just because that heavier bullet really does well with those shorter barrels. So very, very simple setup there. Something I have set up over here is a little bit more of kind of like almost like a fighting rifle configuration, even though this is still an AR pistol. This is a 10.5 barrel. I have Aimpoint Compound 5S on here with a Surefire light, and I ran this through a 5-day high-risk civilian contractor small unit tactics class. We were testing specifically this new product that we're coming out with a different brand called 1791 Industries. It's an ultra lightweight metal that is 33% lighter than aluminum. And the whole reason that we tested this in that small unit tactics class is literally like a 5-day, 1,600 rounds, kind of like a simulated war zone where you have to essentially do contractor related things in that environment. Wanted to make sure that we tested this equipment or this technology in that kind of environment because we're really kind of developing this for the duty space. So very, very lightweight setup. This entire 10.5 system with iron sights, optic, and light. This thing weighs literally 5 pounds and 10 ounces. When I was in the Navy doing counter-piracy stuff, my Mark 18, I carried a Mark 18 Mod 0. It literally weighed like 9 pounds. So awesome setup here. Now, the reason why I have this set up in this way, because when I was doing that small unit tactics course, my role on the team was I was our team medic. Obviously, I'm a rifleman first, but my primary role was being a medic. And for doing medic-related things, I really liked having this more compact package because I can get it out of my way when I was treating a casualty. But that is kind of one way that you could set up a rifle. Another way that this really kind of shines, this is an awesome home defense style package, nice and short, easy to manipulate in and around tight spaces. You could throw a can on here to help mitigate hearing damage if you were to need to use a rifle like this in those close environments. I will tell you that a 10.5 setup, they are extremely loud, and that is only compounded inside of structures. Trust me, I know. Outside of that, this other setup I have here, this is my Colt Car 15 carry handle upper. I have a Trijicon TA44 mini ACOG on here, and I have a truck gun sling from my buddy Andrew over at Combat Art Training. He does some cut and sew design and manufacturing as well. But that's an awesome sling because it stows really tight to the rifle. That was my phone, not yours, sorry. It stows really tight to the rifle so that it's less of a snag hazard, because I have this sitting right behind my seat in my truck. So this is my truck gun. So when I go to yank that thing out, it's less likely to snag on something. And if I need a sling for doing sling related things, I just grab this tab back here and I can pull out that extra slack, and then I have an actual sling. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I'm gonna go ahead and restow that here. So 16-inch barrel, because for truck guns, doing truck gun related things, I may need to be able to reach out a little bit further than 100 yards. I can very effectively hit at 300 meters with this, no problem. I can also pretty effectively hit at 300 meters with a 10.5. It's just that the ballistics out of a 10.5 barrel is a little bit limited at that range. That's why I have a 16-inch barrel. And that TA44 Mini ACOG, that 1.5 magnification, it just helps the target seem not closer, but it gives me a little bit more target definition at ranges beyond 100 yards. I can still pretty much use that as a red dots because it's only 1.5 magnification. And the other nice thing is it uses tritium to absorb ambient light, automatically adjust to lighting conditions. I have a little piece of tape back here that I can put over that fiber optic and help dim it down if I'm in a really bright environment and I need a really fine aiming point. I can certainly do that. One thing that kind of sucks about this, though, is that in the absolute absence of light, for instance, if I am like in a space and it's very dark, I do have tritium that illuminates my reticle. But if I were to hit a light, if I were to light up something, it becomes a little bit more difficult to see my reticle. At that point, I'm basically just looking at a black reticle. Once I hit that light and light up the target zone, it doesn't automatically light up my fiber optic. So that kind of sucks, but it's something that you can work around and get used to. One thing you'll notice on here is I don't have a light on this rifle. I have lights on pretty much every rifle as a standard go-to. I always recommend having a light on a fighting rifle. But for this one here, I'm opting for as slick a profile as possible because this sits on a rifle rack that's right behind my seat in my pickup. And I just wanted one less thing to snag on or catch on or whatever. And there are lighting techniques. The first part of any fighting rifle solution is what do you carry with you? What's your EDC? And in my back left pocket, I always carry a Surefire light. And there are other lighting techniques that you can utilize to light a space if you need to. You know what I mean? And you can even make this even more stable by locking it in. Like you can literally just drive your elbow to the ground. Your bottom of your forearm kind of rests against the mag well, and the top of your forearm rests against the top of the handguard. And that really kind of locks things in and makes it more shootable. So anyways, a truck gun kind of set up there. And then over here, I have literally my Apocalypse rifle. A true SHTF type of situation. I have a TA 31 RCO ACOG on there with a Trijicon SRO piggybacked on top of it for red dot stuff, and then the 4X for further stuff. I can very, very effectively and very repeatably hit at 500 yards with this, no problem. This is actually a 14.5 with a pin and welded flash suppressor. And then I have a Surefire can on the end of it. That's more for mitigating your visual signature because for those that are not aware, military folks primarily use silencers on rifles for flash mitigation, especially under nods. It does lower the sound of a silencer a little bit. Or I'm sorry, it does lower the sound of the rifle a little bit. But you can still very easily hear it at extended distances. One thing that it does do is it helps distort what is being shot and where exactly it is. So that's kind of nice there. Surefire Scout light on there. And then I have a Holosun LE321G laser aiming module there. And that's really all I'm going to get into. This isn't supposed to be a how to set up a fighting rifle video. This is supposed to be a how to use it video. So if you guys are more curious on rifle setups, how to set up rifles for a fighting rifle, different contexts, some people think that like you can set up one rifle to do everything. What I will say is there's diminishing returns to that. For instance, like if I had to grab one rifle here to run out and do most things, I would probably grab the Mark 18, even though this one has a lot more capability. It's just that this has a lot more capability in a more narrow scope of an environment. So this is kind of my worst case scenario rifle. This is kind of my do most things rifle, and this one is the one that I carry with me the most because this will do most of the things that I need to do in most normal civilian circumstances. And this one's more set up to be like a home defense gun. And again, this is like a travel gun, travel rifle. So that's it for the rifle overview. Again, I don't want to make this more about the gear. I want to make this more about the software, not the hardware.